Katha Kavita Khajana presents Snippy and Snappy, a lovely book by Wanda Gag. Snippy and Snappy. Snippy and Snappy were two little field mice. Snippy was Snappy's sister, and Snappy was Snippy's brother. They lived with their father and mother in a cozy nook in a hayfield. They lived in a hayfield, a big grassy hayfield, a field full of flowers and fun. Snippy and Snappy liked this big grassy hayfield and they played in it all day long. But when evening came, they hurried home to their cozy little nook, for then the light was lit and Mother Mouse sat and knitted jackets for her little family. Father Mouse sat there too and read aloud from his newspapers. This newspaper was small enough for a mouse to read, and it was called the Mouse Paper. Father Mouse read about the big wide world and the many big things in it. He read about gardens in big fields. He read about houses in those big gardens. He read about kitchen cupboards in those big houses. But most often, he read about big, yellow cheeses in those big kitchen cupboards. "What is a kitchen cupboard?" said Snippy to Snappy. "It's something with cheese in it," said Snappy to Snippy. "I wish we could find a kitchen cupboard full of cheese," said Snippy. "I'm very fond of cheese." "Me too," said Snappy. "I'm very, very fond of cheese." Now one day, as Snippy and Snappy were playing with Mother Mouse's big blue knitting ball, it rolled away. It rolled away outside of their cozy nook. "Oh, let's roll it some more," cried Snippy. "Maybe it will lead us somewhere." "Oh, yes," cried Snappy. "Maybe it will lead us to the kitchen cupboard full of cheese. Yum, yum." So they rolled it and they rolled it. They rolled it up, they rolled it down. They rolled it up and down and down. They rolled it up and down and down. They rolled it up and down. They rolled it over this and that, and over things both round and flat, and over things both small and tall, along a long, long garden wall. But by and by they stopped. "Let's sit down and rest a while," said Snippy to Snappy. "I'm so hot and tired." "Oh yes, let's," said Snappy to Snippy. "I am also so hot and so tired." So they cuddled down under a tent of wild flowers, and soon they were fast asleep. But suddenly there was a rustle, shh, rustle, rustle, and a bustle, 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 rustle, bustle, rustle, bustle, rustle, bustle, bustle, rustle. And before Snippy and Snappy knew what had happened, something pink and plump darted down among the flowers and snatched up the big blue knitting ball. Snippy jumped up and Snappy jumped up. They both grabbed the string of the knitting ball and they pulled at it. But the string broke in two, and Snippy and Snappy fell in a heap on the ground. Thump! "We must get back that knitting ball," said Snippy. "We simply must," said Snappy. "We'd better follow it." And so they followed it. They followed it up, they followed it down. They followed it up and down. They followed it up and down, down. They followed it up and down. They followed it over this and that, and over things both round and flat, and over things both small and tall, and then over the garden wall. And what did Snippy and Snappy see there? A house! Cried Snippy. Yes, a house! Cried Snappy. In houses there are kitchen cupboards, said Snippy. And in kitchen cupboards there is cheese, said Snappy. Snippy and Snappy were so excited about the cheese, they forgot all about Mother Mouse's big blue knitting ball. They ran down the long path to the house and scampered in through the big open door. But alas, poor Snippy! Alas, poor Snappy! There was no cheese to be seen. What they saw, though, made them open their eyes in wonder. How puzzled they were! You see, Snippy and Snappy were field mice, and they had never been in a house before. So what would they know about all the things of people and all the things that people have in their homes? On the floor was a fuzzy rug with a border of flowers around it. What's this? Asked Snippy. It's a hay field, I guess, said Snappy. Only these flowers don't smell like our flowers, and they are so flat we could never hide under them. Then Snappy found a stool which had a green fringe around it, like a border. Look, Snippy, he cried, here's a tree with funny leaves, and it's a tree with 4 trunks. But Snippy had found a mop. Such a queer plant, she cried. It has a wooden stem and not a single leaf, and its roots grow outside of the ground. Oh, that's nothing, said Snappy, who was looking up at a standing lamp. I found a plant with its roots outside of the ground too. Beautiful curly roots. And my plant has leaves and a flower besides. The biggest flower I ever saw. But Snippy did not hear. She had wandered into a long hall which had a mirror at the end. Oh, Snappy, called Snippy. What is it, Snippy? Called Snappy. Come quick, cried Snippy. There's another mouse there, a little girl mouse, and everything I do, she does too. Snappy rushed out into the long hall, and now, of course, there were 2 little mice in the mirror. Let's fight them, cried Snappy, and he made a dash towards the mirror. But the boy mouse in the mirror seemed to rush at them so fiercely that Snippy and Snappy turned around and scurried away as fast as they could. I don't like those copycat mice at all, said Snappy. Let's hurry back home. So they darted here and darted there, from fuzzy rug to fringy chair, and ran with all their mousy might, from floppy mop to the flowery light. But alas, poor Snippy, and alas, poor Snappy, they couldn't find their way out. The big door was closed now, and it was getting dark too. The 2 field mice felt lost and little and lonely, and soon they were crying as though their hearts would break. Went Snippy, went Snappy. But suddenly Snappy perked up his nose. He stopped his sniffle and gave a sniff. "What's up?" said Snippy. "Are you going to sneeze?" No, said Snappy. "I smell some cheese." Now, when the mouse smells cheese, he can find his way to it, even though the doors are closed. So before they knew it, Snippy and Snappy found themselves going through a crack in the wall. And there it is, cried Snappy, looking hungrily at a big chunk of cheese in a mouse trap. He was just about to start nibbling at it when Snippy gave a loud squeak. "Oh!" she cried. "Something's after us!" It was true. Something jumped down from somewhere and ran after the two little field mice. "Snippy, Snappy, don't you know me?" said a voice behind them. The two little mice looked around, and whom should they see but Father Mouse? Snippy and Snappy pointed to the mouse trap and said proudly, "See, Father Mouse, a kitchen cupboard full of cheese. We found it all by ourselves." But Father Mouse put his arms around Snippy and Snappy and said, "My dear little mice, that is not a kitchen cupboard. It's a mouse trap." "And what's a mouse trap?" asked Snippy and Snappy. "Well," said Father Mouse, "as soon as a mouse starts nibbling at the cheese in a mouse trap, there's a snip and a snap and a trip and a trap, and that's the end of a little mousie." Oh dear, said Snippy and Snappy. Oh dear. Now Father Mouse went to a corner and came back with two big chunks of cheese. He put one under each arm and off he went. Zip, zip, through a crack in the wall, and zip, zip. And zip, zip went Snippy and Snappy after him. Outdoors the moon was shining brightly, and when they reached their cozy little nook, Mother Mouse was waiting for them. "Where have you been all so long?" asked Mother Mouse. "I've been so lonely and quite lost without my knitting ball. I can't find it anywhere." Snippy looked at Snappy. Snappy looked at Snippy, and they both burst into tears. Okay, never mind if it's lost," said Mother Mouse. "I won't scold you, but tell me all about it." "Well," said Snippy, "we rolled it and rolled it." "Yes," said Snappy, "we rolled it up, we rolled it down. We rolled it up and down. We rolled it up and down and down. We rolled it up and down." "And then a pink plump thing came and snatched it from us, and we followed it," said Snippy. "Yes," said Snappy, "we followed it over this and that, and over things both round and flat, and over things both small and tall, and then over the garden wall, where there was a house," said Snippy, "all full of flat flowers and funny trees and copycat mice and a trap full of cheese." "A trap full of cheese!" cried Mother Mouse. "Yes," laughed Father Mouse. "But you know, where there's cheese, why, there am I. So of course he saved us," said Snippy. "Yes, of course he saved us," said Snappy. "And," said Snippy and Snappy, "we'll never go near a house or a mouse trap again." And Snippy and Snappy never, 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 never did so. Of course, they didn't get caught and lived happily ever, ever, ever after. Snippy and Snappy by Wanda Gag. Reading by Manasee Mahajan.